Thank you, Pamela, for the very kind and generous introduction. And I, too, have tried to picture myself when I was Smith's age. Smith, I had hair like you at your age. It's not to scare you by any means, but I didn't have the courage and the power of conviction like Smith has when I was his age. And boy, you've got a lot of good to be doing. You're doing great work right now. Thank you. And it's so good to be here with all of you here that are in this audience and also that are online with us. It's great to be out and amongst people. I've missed it. This has been a tough year for all of us. We've all been disrupted in some way from the isolation and the disconnection that this pandemic has created for us. And it's been a painful time for many of us. And this pain actually is a normal thing. And why is it? It's because we are born with a desire and need to connect. It's an inborn need. We know from the science that children, infants who are born that do not have a connection, don't have that physical and emotional bondedness with an adult, have a higher rate of mortality. It's because we all need that, we crave it. It's something that is wired within our DNA. We are genetically predisposed to connect. We want to connect on a physical level, on an emotional level, and on a spiritual level. And it's innate within all of us. We seek it, we crave it, we want it. I had a great experience with my grandchildren just a little while ago. We've had to be very protective in our home because of our disabled daughter. If she got COVID, she would really be in trouble. And so we had a long separation from my grandchildren. And when we first connected and we were able to have hugs even, just to feel my granddaughter, my grandson just grab me and hold me and not want to let go. Just that innate need was there that I felt so deeply from them. So I want all of you to just think for a moment about the most joyous time in your life, maybe several. What were you doing? Who were you with? What elements were there? More than likely, it is with someone, that memory is with someone that you knew, that you loved. Friends, family, where you were connecting, you were talking, you were touching, you were laughing. You're feeling that sense of belonging, that acceptance, that love together. That's what those good memories are made of, is when we are connecting with others. Those times when we feel the bondedness with others around us, the joy of celebration. When we celebrate a win or a goal or anything good in our life, what do we want to do? We want to share it with somebody, don't we? We want to tell them. We want to touch them. We want to hug them. We want to high-five them. Conversely, think of the most painful times in your life. What were those times that were the most difficult for you? When did you have the most pain, the most trauma? More than likely, it was a time when you felt rejected, when there was some form of loss in your life, some form of grief that you were experiencing because of the loss of someone that you loved. Or people that turned on you, that you felt rejected from. That deep, deep pain that comes from the death of a loved one or being in the midst of a divorce, whether it's someone divorcing you or you're the child of divorce or you're the grandparent of a child who's being divorced. It's a painful, painful experience, and it has to do with relationships. In the Judeo-Christian beliefs, God created man and all things. And what was the very first thing that he said after he created Adam? It is not good for the man to be alone. It's not good for any of us to be alone. The God of all creation knew the impact of loneliness. How loneliness tears our heart apart. How loneliness hurts us. The science now is very, very distinct. We know now that loneliness is a toxic emotion that is responsible for much depression, anxiety, and addictions. It's also responsible for early onset of disease, such as heart disease, Alzheimer's, and other illnesses. Long, prolonged exposure to loneliness is a killer. But there's an interesting twist to it. That loneliness, they found and believe, is also a gift for us to feel. Much akin to hunger. What does hunger tell us? It tells us that we need to what? Eat. What does thirst tell us? Thirst tells us we need to drink in order to survive. Those emotions of loneliness tell us that we need to connect. It's a warning sign. It's a buzzer that goes on inside of us. And we need to listen very closely to it. If we start to feel it, we need to reach out. We need to connect. Addiction is now being defined as an attachment disorder. Attachment issues that we know therapeutically from someone who maybe was abused when they were young or had a lot of rejection in their life, somehow felt neglected, or a lot of loneliness can also lead to then addictive behaviors. And the trauma that comes from our shame. This statement is from a client of mine. He said, as he came in and was looking for help for his drug, alcohol, and pornography addiction and other problems that he had with social media and gaming, he said, the devastation of my choices is that they have disconnected me from my true identity, from the people I love, and from my God. That sense of disconnection. And his healing was about his recovery to those identities of himself, that connection with other people and with his God. He had allowed himself to rely on the counterfeit connections of drugs, alcohol, sexual compulsions, gaming, and social media. We've talked about this. This became his substitute of his community, the substitute of his tribe, of his people. He pulled away, and because of his shame, he didn't want to let people to know who he truly was, and so he pulled away. And we see this today, everywhere. Disconnection, 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 disconnection. It's everywhere. And so what do we need to do about it? What can we do personally? Those of us that have a sense of a spiritual connection with our Maker. It's important to know that people throughout ages and religious communities for eons have focused on the oneness, the power and the importance of oneness and connection. Buddhist oneness is not a goal. It is the reality of life. We are all one. Enlightenment is turning to others and finding unity and oneness with the universe. In Hindu belief, behind the diversity of existence, all beings are unified in that one self. And there is connected spiritual oneness in all existence. The oneness unifies all beings. There is divine in every being. Jesus Christ himself surrounded himself with people. He connected. He hung out with a lot of people. He invited people to come to him. He was with those that he loved and taught his messages by telling stories of connectedness. Emmanuel, that he was known by in the Hebrew translation, is God is with us. There's that message of connectedness to the divine. And he left us with these messages. I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. At that day ye shall know that I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. words of connection. And what is the opposite message we get from the darker side? We call it Satan, the adversary, the evil one. The message is, as we've heard today, is that of shame. That message to have us separate, disconnect from God. In that scene in the Garden of Eden, in this Judeo-Christian perspective, it is that voice that says to Adam and Eve, you have sinned, you are unworthy of God's love, pull away, disconnect from God, who is calling you to talk to you. And what did they do? Yes, they did. They hid amongst the trees of the garden. But who called them out of hiding? It was their Father. It was their Creator. Come to me. Let's talk. Where are you? I know what you've done. You don't need to hide. Come out of hiding. Connect with me. Because I want for you to become whole and return to my presence. There's always that message of relationship. I want you back into my presence. So let's talk. Let's connect. It is God's desire for us to be connected. In all of the work that we see with the 12 steps in AA and in the White Book for Sexual Addiction, there's that same message of surrendering to our higher power. That message of connecting through prayer, through meditation, mindfulness, opening ourselves to others, creating a community that is not counterfeit, but is real. These are what I call the 6 pillars of connection. And these are things that I have found myself to be essential on my daily routine. As I wake up in the morning, I know that my natural tendency personally is to kind of disconnect. It's to be alone. I can be a very individual person, just be in my own place and feel like I can just kind of handle everything. I need to reach out, as we all do. These are also evidence-based. You can find the research. We don't have time to go through that today, but there's research that backs up every one of these principles. Gratitude and thanksgiving. Talk and touch. Mindfulness, meditation and prayer. Commune with nature. Music, movies, and stories. And as we've heard today, service. Gratitude and thanksgiving. I would recommend this book to everyone. Janice Kaplan has captured the essence of what we're needing to do in our lives, in our society, to reconnect with the importance of gratitude. This message has been given to us again throughout the ages. Allah talked about it. Buddha talked about it. In current times, the Dalai Lama has talked about it. Russell M. Nelson from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has talked about it. It's talked about constantly from religious and church leaders, the importance, the power of gratitude. And gratitude connects us with others. When we express our thanks to another person, we receive back this sense of bondedness with them. They feel it, they return it. When we express our gratitude to our God, we have then a reinforcement of that connection and that relationship with the divine. Touch and talk. Connect with those next to you. Now that we're able to touch a bit more, touch as much as you can. Hold those hands, put your arm around each other, give those hugs, kiss when it's appropriate. Be close. Make those bonded and touched moments real. Feel that acceptance and love of others. It impacts the very chemistry of our brain when we touch. Oxytocin, that wonderful bonding hormone, is accentuated and secreted in our bodies when we touch, when we share with one another. Mindfulness, meditation, and prayer There's so much now that we understand about the power of mindful living. Meditate. Think on the things that you're needing to connect with. Be mindful of those around you. Listen to their heart. Listen to what they're saying to you, through what they're saying and what they're looking like. Be aware. And mindfulness helps you to be aware of others. And then express gratitude for the expression that they've given to you. Get into nature. It's been proven that connecting with nature connects us with the divine. God created all things. The beauties of nature are manifestations of God's love for us. And for us to experience those creations, be grateful for them when we're in those places. Be with other people in nature. Connect with others through these divine resources that we have all around us. Be in a constant state of thanksgiving. Gratitude is one thing, to feel gratitude, but thanksgiving is the expression of it, expressing it, sharing it. Oh, I'm going to go back. Okay. We don't have time to listen to the music, but music, stories, powerful ways of connecting. Rainbows, sunrises, sunsets. Listen to the stories and the messages and the music that connect us to those things. In your journey for connection, find the joy. Take the time to settle, feel it, and experience it with each other. And we'll all be better for it. Thank you very much.